G'day. Not at the kitchen table. I'm still in my office. I'm actually watching a series called Taken on YouTube by Steven Spielberg. I've seen it before, but it's really good. And it's really addictive, and you kind of want to watch episode after episode after episode. I'll say that again. It's called Taken, Taken, and by Steven Spielberg. It was actually a TV miniseries at one stage, probably back in the 2000s at some point. And yeah, it's if you can check it out, check it out. Really enjoyable watch. So that's what I'm doing. But the reason I came on tonight was because every now and again you kind of get these reminders of life. I mean, we have our birthdays every year. Some people have their anniversaries, but there's Valentine's Day, there's Easter, there's various times of the year that just come every year. Obviously anniversary is a little bit more special, but, otherwise they're things that sort of just happen and a few days later it's gone. Today I got a reminder that 4 years ago today, I wasn't actually living in the house that I'm actually living in. I was living in a town in South Australia called Mount Gambier, and I was rapidly trying to get my home loan run or started up so that I could actually buy the house that I'm currently in. And I really wanted to fix it because I knew the interest rates were going to be all over the shop, and they, for the last 4 years, they have been. And I can probably see them going up again. But that 4-year period is up on the 29th of April. So that means that 4 years ago, I was in the process of buying this house. And look, it's interesting to sort of look back on a chunk of time as opposed to just 12 months. Because, clearly I was in a very different position to where I am now. Okay, I own a house. Well, I don't own it, the bank does. But I have paid off 30% of it, which is not a bad effort in 4 years, and I figure that's okay. Still got 70% left, which is a lot, but, for the amount that I've got left, people pay more on a new car these days, so I don't think I'm doing too badly. But yeah, 4 years ago, I was living in Mount Gambier. I'd been in a 2 to 3 year relationship that I thought was good until it wasn't. It was a lot of green flags. Life was great. But gradually the orange flags started sort of popping in, and then gradually the orange flags turned into red, and eventually, after the same argument over and over and over again, where I was giving a way out, but she didn't want to take it and couldn't see it. Otherwise, I'd still be living in Mount Gambier. But here I am. So yeah, you sort of look back on things that have happened, and, there was a break. I just buried myself in work because that's what guys do sometimes. In fact, we do it probably more often than not, because at the end of the day, it's the reliable thing. It's there every day. It doesn't change. You still get shitty days, you still get good days, but overall it's pretty much the same. And it's something that you can, for me, it's something I've been doing for that long that it becomes an almost comfort thing, and I don't know how else to put it. It's that thing you fall back on to a certain extent. To wipe away, and just allow time to do its thing. Because it's never easy going through a breakup. It just isn't. And, it's in this case, it wasn't just one person I lost. It was a few, because obviously, families get involved, and I did get quite close to her dad. And I was really disappointed that I lost that. It was just one of those things, I guess. Family will always be family, and that's not a bad thing. So it is what it is. So I just buried myself in work, and I knew pretty much straight away I wasn't going to stay in Mount Gambier. I did think about Adelaide, moving back there, but it was just massively expensive. And even though I was doing really well at work at the time, I knew that probably wasn't going to last. And I had to look at something beyond 1 or 2 months, or even 12 months. I had to start looking, especially at 50. You start looking to retirement to a certain extent, and going, what do I need to do to basically make sure I'm going to be okay? And even back then, I was still thinking about what the world was going to be doing, because the trigger signs were all there. There was little doubt about what was happening. And at the time, we sort of thought it was going to come a lot sooner than what it hasn't done yet. And I say yet because it is coming. It's just the most long drawn out movie we've ever sat through. It is coming, but we're only halfway through at the moment. I think I don't know. It's, I think, the thing that happened 6 years ago, and we all know what that was, but I'm not going to say it. That was stage one. Some who have been around for a lot longer would say it was, we saw that coming. I mean, you did to a certain extent, but not to what it was. We're really only probably halfway through this movie, and like one of my other relationships that I had through that 4-year period, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I'll never forget that saying, so thank you. Although that was a mess as well, and that hit me harder actually than the Mount Gambier one, because I found someone who was very like-minded, thought the same way I did, or at least that's what I thought. We were really, really good together. But like so many human traits, I guess, we soon find that, all the usual human traits come into it. And I know Chance Paladin has actually spoken about it. You can get a group of people together who all think the same way, who all, right at the very start, especially when there's no conflict, like during peacetime, which we're in now, technically, we're all on the same path. But then as soon as something happens, they change. And a few people have said, if you're going to get into these sort of groups, then use contracts, legally binding contracts. And I don't think he's wrong. And I've heard others say the same thing. Bear Independent have said it. Full Spectrum Survival have said it. There's been a variety of people that have said the same thing. Because at the end of the day, we are human, and it doesn't matter which side you're on, doesn't matter what your thoughts are. Eventually, something's going to change, and all of a sudden, the veil's going to be sort of pulled apart, and the real person's going to stand there. And it's going to be hard for people to comprehend how that change has happened. And it was in particular for me, because I virtually, set my life up for this person. Simple. I thought, we were going to do this together, and she was incredibly smart, incredibly intelligent, very caring, all the qualities you look for. But she was tough as well, so, which was good in a lot of ways. She wasn't afraid to try something, and when I lost it, it was like losing your left arm, losing the main writing arm. I'm right-handed, but like losing my right arm. And it took me a long time to get over it, like seriously a long time. And I still miss the conversations we had. I miss it dreadfully, still now. So I had to change the way I do things, and I did. I had no choice, and I lost trust. That was the big thing. Trust was a massive thing, and I thought we had trust, but clearly she was on a different page. And I lost trust in everything. I mean, absolutely everything. And I just gave up on ever even trying to date again, because I thought, this is just brutal what she did. And she walked away probably thinking she'd done nothing wrong. Why was the problem? It's all my fault, and maybe it's because of a lack of lack of conversation, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe I didn't see it. I don't know. But yeah, either way, it stopped. And I had to move on. So again, fell into work, because that's what I do. And I mean, certain people I know, really good friends, of which I've only really got one, and she's got her own problems as well, which is why we don't talk all the time. But she's always on my mind. I mean, I hope she's really doing well. It's not a relationship, no. That will never happen. It's purely friendship, and it means the bloody world to me. And I can't begin to tell you how much it means the world to me. So yeah, So you just. But otherwise, my trust is just blown. I mean, completely blown apart. I mean, I don't think I'll ever trust another woman again, besides my mum, and this friend. But she's in a relationship. That's, it's not going to happen. Love you, by the way. Yeah, it's just blown apart. I don't know how, and then I was watching a few videos this morning, and it's about guys in their 50s and 60s, and they got all these women chasing them, and that's my angry face. Oh dear. But yeah, it's just funny looking back on 4 years. Like, I feel like I've done a lot. Like, I've done a hell of a lot. Met a whole bunch of new people. It's a pity you all live so bloody far away, but that's That's life. Welcome to the internet age. And I think, the big C sort of taught us, friends don't have to live around the corner anymore. They can live 15,000 miles away or 6,000 miles away or 200, 800 miles away. I don't know. They don't have to be in your back pocket all the time, and it's, if you've got similar interests and things like that, well, that's okay. It's all good. But, 4 years. 4 years I've been in this house. Have I done everything I wanted to do in this house? No. I've got a front yard that looks like a mess. I've got a front fence that needs to be fixed, replaced. It's dead. But I don't know. At the moment, I'm not rushing to get these things done. Because I don't know. Who knows what the next 4 years is going to be like? Seriously, I mean, you look at what's happened in the last 4 years, and it's like, just mind blown, really. I mean, we look back on the Cuban Missile Crisis and just think that was a Toy Story compared to what we're going through now. It's a joke, really. It's a blip on the radar when everyone thought the world was going to end. And these days it's like, it's 12 o'clock. The world should have ended by now. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. No, it should have ended again. It's just, it doesn't stop, really, does it? I mean, anyone who's watching this stuff knows what I'm talking about. I didn't think we were going to get through the last 3 Christmases, but we did. And, you could say the same thing about this Christmas. I mean, let's face it. Apparently Alexa doesn't think there's going to be one, so maybe we should just start believing AI. I don't know. It's just hilarious, really. But yeah, 4 years in this house, I'm happy. 30% mortgage paid off. That's pretty good in 4 years, and still got a bit to go, but that's why I'm fixing it for another 4 years. But yeah, I just thought it was an interesting topic when you sort of look back on a chunk of time as opposed to just 12 months. And things sort of, you might have been living in a different place, your mindset was in a different place, everything was in a different place. And now here we are, 4 years older, and probably a bit more weight. Yeah, a lot more weight. A lot more greys. See, grey. Still no grey up here, which isn't a bad thing. Doesn't look like I've washed my hair, but I did wash my hair this morning. I did have a shower. And this is what it looks like. It looks like I've been sleeping on one side, but I've actually been working all day, so there you go. And this is my office, and yes, I've got a bit of Lego. I call it Lego. Various cars. My favourite car, Audi Quattro Sport. Kit's down there somewhere. And then up at the top you can see the Ghostbusters car. You can see the DeLorean. And a few others. Actually, I'll do something. One of my friends did, just some guy. So, I don't know. Can you see those? See? So the caravan and car I actually built myself. But, I mean, there's my old Matchbox Audi Quattro that I've had for since I was a kid. And then, there's Knight Rider. And Kit's kind of funny because if you actually open the door, he flashes. But then you can open the bonnet. See his, and then the boot opens, the doors open. So there's Kit. Does kind of have lowered suspension, but that's all right. Oh, forget about all the cans of drink. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, I've got a Batmobile down there as well. And then, yeah, up the top, Aston Martin from James Bond. And then Ayrton Senna's car, Wally. And the DeLorean as well, and then R2-D2. So yeah, I've got my toys as well, and then of course you've got the Yellow Submarine and the Beatles and all the little characters who sit and stare there every morning or every day when I'm working. So yeah, my office is a bloody mess, I know. I don't care. I'm the only one that has to put up with it, so get over it. And yes, I only really have one can of drink a day. Although today it's been 2. So there you go. And the cans will go into the bin tomorrow morning. Well, actually, they won't go into the bin tomorrow morning because I've got to go and measure up someone's house. So, and I've got to be there at 9 o'clock, and that's about an hour and a half to our driveway. So, ta-da! So yeah, but by tomorrow night, all be tidied up and all good again. So yeah, then the process begins all over again. It's great, isn't it? So yeah, 4 years, I'm comfortable, I'm happy, yeah. Do my own thing these days. Don't have to get permission from anyone to do anything. If I want to go out bush, I go out bush. If I want to go up the shop, go out the shop. I don't have somebody with me. I'm single and very happy about it. There are times, a lot of times probably, where I'd love to be with someone, but no. I'm not at all interested. So, and that's probably because the trust is just completely gone. And that's been my life story, really. So you sort of get to know someone, you become friends with someone, and it just falls apart. So I think the longest friendship I've ever had was 10 years, and that fell apart because I was no longer there for them all the time, although they didn't want to be with me. So, you know, I was being used. I know that. But I got a lot out of it as well. So, and I've gotten a lot out of all the people I've been with. So I've never had kids, never really wanted them. I don't have pets, don't have dog, cat, fish, nothing, not a bird, and nor the two-legged or the feathered variety either. So yeah, that's my life, and I suppose 4 years ago I made the decision to start looking at my future, and that's what I've done. So anyway, this has gone long enough. Catch you later. Have fun. Enjoy the week. Bye.